Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how I made some posters for our church. I was asked to make 4 posters for our Advent services and I thought I'd make them on my CNC using foam board. So as you can see here, I've got some 5mm foam board, and I had my CNC draw this scroll and then fill in all the letters, and I used my 3D printed DrawBot that I created for CNCs in order to do that. And then I had the CNC just cut out the whole thing in about a minute or so, and then I've got my poster ready to go. So if you're interested in seeing how I made these, please stick around. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Okay, so let's take a look at how I set up this poster for my CNC. For this project, I used Carbide Create and imported some graphics. And I used my 3D printed DrawBot that I designed to do all of the drawing, and it just takes some Jiffy markers and just stick them into the unit and it draws everything for you. So if you're interested in that, there's a link in the description below. You can check out my video on how to make that 3D printed drawing tool for your CNC. Alright, so let's take a look at the setup. First thing I did was figure out that my poster dimensions for the foam board is 508 by 762. I want my thickness, even though it's 5 mils, I want to pretend it's 6 mils, so it'll cut all the way through. And then my retract height is about 8 millimeters, so that the pen has enough area to move up and down properly with the DrawBot. And my lower left is the toolpath 0 right there, so everything's in millimeters. Alright, so let's take a look at the actual toolpaths. So let's take a look at toolpath number 1, enable that. So this is a contour toolpath. So it's going to draw, pretending it's cutting on this blue line, but it's just drawing on it. And if you zoom in, you can see that it's a double line. There's an offset on here. So it's going to draw twice on here. And I'll explain that in a little bit. So if you take a look at the operation, I'm just pretending it's a 1/16 inch end mill because that's about the thickness of the tip of the felt I'm using, and I'm going to say the depth per pass is 5 millimeters. So it's not really cutting, it's just pushing down on the felt pen 5 millimeters, and at a feed rate of 6,000, which is pretty fast, but it's just drawing, so it's actually, you could actually bump that up even more. And then my max depth is 5. I have no offset, so it's going to write directly on the lines. And I don't need any tabs for this because it's just drawing, and that's pretty much it for the drawing part. Now next would come the letters and symbols, so I'm going to enable that. So the letters and symbols are everything in blue here. So this is not a contour, this is a pocket toolpath, so it's going to fill in everything that's inside of these letters and the symbols themselves. And if you take a look at the operation, it's still 1/16 inch end mill, still 5 millimeter depth of pass, feed rate is still 6,000, and my max depth is 5, and that's pretty much it. So that is the drawing part of it. That takes longer than 8 minutes. Actually, when I put it on the machine, it took about 15 to 17 minutes, I think. Let's disable that. And then the final toolpath is the cutout. So I'm actually just cutting it out on the outside portion here. It's not cutting all the lines, and that blue line here, that's exactly where it's going to cut. And I'll just show you the operation here. I would have preferred to use a 1/16 inch end mill, but I didn't have one that was a down cut. Ordered one since then, and I wanted to cut right through the foam board, so I said 6 mils because I have another foam board underneath that's going to be kind of like my spoil board, and then it's going to still feed in at 6,000 because it's just foam, doesn't take much effort to cut through that. I have an outside right is my offset, and my tabs, you'll see in just a second here. I'm going to just show you what they look like. I'll just show you the simulation. So that's what it's cutting, is the outside part here. And I don't know why my tabs didn't show up, but I've got them just spaced in around here. There's about 8 of them. Easy to cut through with an X-Acto knife because it's just foam. So that's pretty much all of my tool paths, and did that for the other 3 as well. Just basically copied this and changed the letters. The letters I got just in the font here, and then I imported these symbols, and I actually imported the scroll design that I just got off the internet. So that's pretty much how I did my setup for my CNC, and then I just let my DrawBot cut it out. Okay, let's take this over to the CNC and cut this poster out. Thanks for checking out this video I made on foam board posters using a CNC. If you're interested in my 3D printed DrawBot, there's a link at the end of this video or down below.